Hello and welcome everyone to the Late League Chat Show. Definitely not putting the late in the show name this week. If you missed an episode last week, don't worry about it. That was just a glitch in the Matrix. But we are back. It has been actually a banger weekend, not gonna lie. Had a lot of very close games. We are getting into the saucy, spicy part of the season. And we are starting to build a playoff picture, which we'll talk about today. But to kick things off, we're going to talk about everyone's favorite team. Maybe actually everyone's new favorite team at least. Immortals. Now, why am I talking about a team that went 0-2? I think because they've actually they definitely deserve better than their record, and they're better than their record for sure. But unfortunately, in the LCS, especially BO1, your score is what matters at the end of the day. And close is not good enough. But I think it is worth giving IMT credit for how much better they've looked since the break. How far they've come after week one. This was a team that had the most, we're going to look better with the least amount of improvement, because they had so much to improve on from their first week, but also the team that, if they were going to contend for playoffs and really make something out of their season, needed to do the most work by far of any team in the LCS. And to their credit, they've done that work. I think this is more of what we wanted to see. It's actually more than I thought, right? Ignore PoE, a decent 80 carry, although loss is a bit inconsistent. I think that's the thing that hurts him. With a new jungler that's very talented, but obviously need a lot of time to grow. And Revenge, who has had some bright sparks. This team is decent, right? On paper. And I think this team has actually been a lot better than just that level that we had for them. On paper, maybe they're sixth, right? I think they've been better than that. I think they're just also woefully inconsistent, and their season start sucked. So they're always going to be in this heartbreaking spot where they look so much better. They should likely have had 2 more wins this weekend. They certainly should have had at least 1, but games are not created by how many wins you could have had, right? You're judged by what wins you actually have. In the same way that Cloud9 is hurt by starting 0-3. IMT are hurt by starting their season poorly and still not being able to convert wins despite looking significantly better. But I think Revenge deserves a huge shout out. He is playing out of his mind. And Revenge is a player that I always was I thought Revenge had just hit a ceiling, basically. I was he's good. He was really good as an NA prospect when he was a solo queue star. And his ceiling felt very high, and I thought we were just never going to see it. And he's somehow gotten better, despite having more time in the LCS. I thought Revenge would hit a plateau, but he's really going off. And I wouldn't pick Revenge to be a player necessarily to build around, but I think that choice by IMT to have Revenge as their franchise player is starting to pay some dividends. But again, you have to actually win the games for that to matter. Now, look, if IMT sneak into playoffs at 8th and have sorted out a lot of their shit, then maybe that's not going to matter, right? And maybe they have a shot at some decent run, right? If I think on paper they're as good as 6th, maybe they can get there if they sneak into playoffs and have a decent showing in round 1. Maybe they have a decent second series and doesn't work out and they finish 6th. That wouldn't be a bad season for IMT given how it started, but they got to get there first. And the likelihood is I'm getting there. It feels like it should be closer, but it's just it's just not. And IMT's problem is that they're just still inconsistent. And it feels like there's this massive mental block with this team. And I think that's one of the things where momentum is a very real thing in sports and obviously in League. It's so they obviously started doing better once they started winning a couple games, and the break obviously helped them, but they keep getting put in spots where like it feels like they should win and then they lose. And mentally on a team, that's super grating, because like even the EG game yesterday, where it's like, holy F, they should be dead already. And they are now in a spot. They're in a spot to win this game now. And had it all kind of set up. It was never a sure thing that IMT were going to win that game. And when Inspired stole the Elder Dragon, it felt like, even though that was basically a flip, or as close to a flip as we've got in League, it just felt like, oh yeah, that's kind of what was supposed to happen. Because it's just like, that's the expectation for EG versus IMT. It's the IMT choke and EG are clutch as hell. And unfortunately, for better or worse, that's what happened. But IMT do deserve credit for the team they have now and recovering this season. But as we'll see kind of in our talk for the next question, which will lead into the larger discussion about playoffs, like, it just might not matter. Might not matter how good I think you are. It matters how many wins you get. Still got to win games at the end of the day. But Revenge deserves a ton of credit. I think IMT are like getting it together, but they have so little time. So with that, this will be a fun one. I've kind of decided to like shift up how I was thinking about the LCS today. You know, it's the one. There we go. We're getting the playoffs. I'm not quite there yet. Got a lot of other things we can talk about in later episodes as we get closer to the postseason. But I kind of want to start thinking about like, what does the playoff picture look like? And I want to actually start by asking who's in 9th. Now, if you're asking me, Pastry, why 9th? What about 10th? The answer to 10th is Dignitas, unfortunately. I mean, if that wasn't true in the literal standings where they're sitting, it's definitely true in how they're approaching this season at this point. And they are... I mean, Freak had the unfortunate but potentially honest take of he doesn't think Dignitas will win another game this split. They have 5 games left. They currently have 2 wins. He may well be right. But as far as we can tell from the way this team is moving, I don't think there's anything wrong with this given the season. Dignitas are our 10th place team. So who's in 9th? Because 8 teams make playoffs in summer. And I feel like the battle for 9th is very spicy. Because even though IMT are currently in 9th, they have 3 wins. Currently 1 behind TSM and Golden Guardians. It does kind of feel like any of TSM, Golden Guardians, or IMT could be in that 9th place spot. And I think based on... like, I feel like the eye test says that IMT should be at least 8th. In fact, I think by the eye test, IMT are better than both of those teams, which will put them in 7th, actually. But again, we go back to the same problem. You have to actually pick up wins. So, who do I think is going to take the 9th place spot? I think it's Golden Guardians. Maybe that's too much Golden Guardians Hopium. But, I mean, they got River late. Yes, there's going to be some adjustments, but, like, you don't have to stay above... you don't have to stay, like, that far above IMT and or TSM to squeak your way into playoffs, right? So I kind of feel like it's a battle between TSM and IMT. And I guess I feel TSM more because, I mean, I feel like IMT and Golden Guardians in different ways have made moves into getting themselves ready to clinch that last spot potentially, right? They don't, like, at this point, they don't care where they finish. They just care that they finish at all in top 8. But TSM, I don't know. I mean, Solo is a we want to make playoffs angle, I think. More than Soul, I think if you're investing in your future, you take Soul now. If Soul was, like, really good, like, if Soul was absolutely gapping people, but was just, like, inconsistent, I would rather have Soul than Solo in right now. But I think Soul's not there yet. And that's okay. Like, Soul will be ready when he's ready. I doubt we will have Soul in Academy forever. and I'm excited for his future as a player. But TSM basically like brought in Solo as a stopgap, and are just trying to stay ahead of Golden Guardians and IMT. That's their whole goal. We got like a little gulag down here for the 8th place spot between TSM, GG, and IMT. So Matt says IMT are going to be on the 9th place team because they are right now. And being a win behind the 2 teams above you feels bad. But I don't think it's Golden Guardian. So it might be TSM because I think IMT is actually better than both these teams. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like IMT are just so self-sabotaging that maybe it's not. But I mean, Golden Guardians as well. I mean, maybe we should look at the schedule. Who are they playing? Let's have a look-see here. What their strength of schedule looks like. Because that's the real way to answer this question, right? Who are they playing next? So let's have a lookie. Come back. Week 7. Week 8. 5 games left. 3 in week 8, 2 in week 7. Golden Guardians opponents are 100 Thieves, IMT, ooh, that's spicy, EG, Team Liquid, Dignitas. That schedule kind of sucks. The IMT game especially will be very telling. And they also lost to TSM today, right? Yeah, they lost to TSM today. Which isn't the best for their chances, but it's okay. TSM's remaining opponents are EG, okay, great, fun. Dig, all right, nice. CLG, ooh, C9, and FlyQuest, ugh. I thought Golden Guardians had a really hard strength of schedule, but I think that's actually worse. And then IMT are playing Dig, nice. Okay, everyone's playing Dig, feels good, man. Don't lose that game, holy moly. I mean, like, who else? Like, who's the Dig playing? TL, EG. I mean, Dig have 5 games left. Freaks predicting them that they won't win another game. Like, not looking easy, but if Dig are going to upset any of the teams, it's not going to be Team Liquid and EG. So Dig are probably going to ruin someone's day. I think if Dignitas beat any of these 3 teams, by the way, I think you're just doomed. I think you have to beat Dignitas. But assuming everyone beats Dignitas, which right now feels like the right way, or at least the predictable outcome. IMT are playing GG. Oh man, GG, Dig, C9, FlyQuest, and CLG. IMT's strength schedule is hard too. So I would say actually they're all kind of tricky, but I think Golden Guardians have the easiest strength of schedule of those teams. Golden Guardians also have to play... Well, I don't know. Golden Guardians have to play one of the teams they're playing. IMT have to play 2, right? IMT have to play GG and... Yeah, GG and... Oh no, GG CLG. Is it TSM that has to play 2 of them? No, that doesn't make any sense. Just double checking everything real quick. Yeah, I guess not. I guess they're only each playing the other one, like one of those 2 teams once. I mean, that's pretty close. I think if it's close, then IMT just can't make it, because if we kind of keep parity, IMT are just 1 win behind, which again feels really bad, given how close they've been to winning games. Like, imagine if, like, again, right now, end of week 6, IMT in 9th, TSM GG tied for 7th. So if we locked right now, TSM and Golden Guardians would be in playoffs, and IMT would not. If IMT had 2-0'd this weekend, they're now both a win ahead of TSM and Golden Guardians, and they're actually in a super good position. But because they didn't, feels like big doomer energy. And I don't know. I mean, I'm not an analyst. That's why I don't predict this stuff. It's too hard. I gotta like do a bunch of math and like look at who's in the thing. But my gut says that even though IMT are the best of these 3 teams right now, I just don't think they'll make it. I think the inconsistency in their season and generally in their games is too high. Like if we had another week, I think IMT easily make playoffs. Like it just feels like they need a little bit more time, and they just didn't get any. So I guess if I have to make a prediction, which is part of how this all works, like I said, I don't think it's Golden Guardians. I don't think it's Golden Guardians at all. I think of these three teams, they're the team I think is most likely to squeak in. Whether it's 7th or 8th or 6th, it doesn't matter. They're going to squeak in, especially with River. But I mean, Golden Guardians and TSM feel pretty consistent, and they're already a win ahead of IMT. And I think they each get to play. They at least each get to play one of them. In fact, I'll double check IMT's strength schedule again. They're playing Dig, Golden Guardians, C9, FlyQuest, and CLG. Okay, well, they're only playing one of the teams they're in kind of this little race with, but their schedule's hard. Which again, when you're near the bottom trying to squeak into 8th for any of these teams, your schedule's probably going to be hard. I don't know. I want to believe, and I see worlds where IMT are like as good as 6th and as bad as 10th, but yeah, I don't know. I guess if I have to say, I think Golden Guardians definitely make it. I think TSM will make it. I think the standings will basically lock like they are today. But yeah, you're right, May West. If IMT doesn't make playoffs, they're absolutely gonna have nightmares about that steal. Like both games this weekend were winnable, but that game felt so winnable. And when you do that much work to even maneuver the game against a team that good, to be in a spot where you're like ahead enough to take the Elder and end the game, to have, oh man, a very unfortunate, meaningful LCS moment. Like that's a moment that will live in history for a while. I think it's even though it's a regular season moment, that's a really big one. But yeah, feels bad, man. So I guess to answer my question, IMT's in 9th. Unlucky, standings aren't changing from today. But what about the rest of playoffs? What about the rest of playoffs? So here are today's standings. EG, 100 Thieves, C9, CLG, Team Liquid all tied for 3rd. FlyQuest in 6th, TSMGG at 7th. I said IMT were in 9th. So those are 8 playoff teams right now. And I guess according to my little spiel from the last segment, those are the playoff teams we're going to have. But is it going to be in this order? So EG and 100 Thieves are going to be 1st and 2nd. 100 Thieves is 2 wins clear of Cloud9. EG are 3 wins clear. I don't see any movement there. They're going to be fine. They're also both really good and pretty consistent teams. 100 Thieves are really consistent. EG are just good. And even though EG like to meme sometimes, and it's probably going to get worse as they get closer to the end of the split, which I don't think is wrong, by the way. I think being a little bit more loose, a little bit more relaxed, knowing you have a very long postseason ahead of you, and you're trying to defend your title, like I think there is some level of relaxation in EG's game that is not just acceptable, but like necessary for your season because it's so long. And I think it's reasonable to be worried as an EG fan there in the chat. But they do always figure out a way. And that's kind of what they've gifted themselves by having such a good, like a surprisingly good season. Like remember, before we started, we were like, Amosite Hangover, Copium, EG are going to take a while to ramp up, bad spring split, Omega LOL, like this is a postseason team, all this stuff, right? Like EG had a whole box of excuses that we would have happily given them, and they didn't need any of them. They're still in 1st and at the end of week 6. So yeah, EG might make it spicy sometimes, and I think in general their games have gotten a little bit more juicy, let's say. But they're super fun to watch and they're really good. Like I don't think they're not falling out of top 2. That much I can promise you. I doubt they'll fall out of top 1. But they are playing 100 Thieves again, right? Am I correct? No, maybe not. No, they already played them twice. EG have TSM TL, Golden Guardians, Dignitas, C9 left. So I think if they own the head-to-head against 100T, which I guess they don't because they did lose to them actually. That's what happened recently. I think they'll be fine. And they're not going to drop out of top 2. So 1 and 2, EG 100 Thieves. Congratulations. You've all but made it at this point in the season. I think where it gets really interesting is 3 through 8. Actually 3 through 6. TSM and Golden Guardians, or IMT if they're going to make, a late season surge, even though I don't necessarily believe in them from this spot right now. They're 2 wins, 3 wins. God, they're 3 wins behind. That's so crazy. The difference between 6th and 7th, chat, is 3 wins. FlyQuest have 7 wins. TSM have 4. Tied with Golden Guardians. Oh, man. Okay, so don't worry about 7th and 8th. They're locked in. So we got 4 teams left. We got the 2 at the bottom and the 2 at the top. The bread of the sandwich has been established. Who's filling out the meat? 3, 4, 5, 6. Right now, that's a 3-way tie in 3rd for C9, CLG, TL, Honda, and FlyQuest in 6th. I guess if I'm using my pre-season expectations, which have so far been all right, I had FlyQuest in 5th, so they can be 5th. Congratulations. Although, if FlyQuest are 5th, how on earth do any of Cloud9, CLG, and TL get to 6th? God, can you imagine TL being in 6th going into playoffs? That feels so unlikely. God, that would be so bad. I don't know. They can do it. FlyQuest are good, but these teams are all good, which is why it's so hard to figure out who's gonna make it. I guess I have huffed too much Cloud9 copium for my liking. So I think the easiest bet for 3rd is Cloud9. They feel like the most obvious team. Although their schedule, CLG, God, their schedule looks hard. CLG 100, IMT, TSM, EG. Yeah, that's pretty hard. But I mean, EG, C9 are good. So I don't know. I think C9 feel reasonable. CLG feel like the team that most people think are going to fall off. They're playing Cloud9, FlyQuest, TSM, 100 Thieves, and IMT. Their schedule's really hard, actually. But CLG are really good. Like, CLG could be as good as 3rd. But maybe 6th. I mean, I guess of these 3 teams, I mean, I want to put Team Liquid 4th for the memes, but I actually kind of don't have that much faith in them. At least for the regular season. And to your point, obviously, having a bad split doesn't mean you can't have good playoffs. I mean, literally, our defending champions are living current proof of that. Having a very mediocre regular season split into absolutely giga stomp everyone in playoffs. Team Liquid's schedule is not too bad either. I want to believe in TL. I don't think they're going to finish 6th or 5th. I think they're going to finish. I think they're going to finish 4th. I'm not just saying that for the memes. I think Cloud9 are actually just better than them right now. And also, I think Cloud9 and Team Liquid are in closest competition for the final world slot. As good as CLG and FlyQuest are. So I think C9 are 3. I think TL are 4th. And then who do I think for CLG and FlyQuest? Flies? Well, they have to play them, I guess. So I guess the winner of that game is going to be in 6th? Or 5th, even? I don't know. I want to say Fly because that's who I had coming into the split, but I think CLG have actually impressed me so much that I think it's going to be CLG. But I think actually, like this clump of 3 through 6 is actually really competitive, which should make for a very fun playoffs. Obviously, like, we're probably going to get EG 100 Thieves in the final again, which, I don't know, they're great teams. They're fun to watch. I don't mind that too much, but getting our third team qualified is going to be a absolute roller coaster. So yeah, I guess that's the playoff picture. As far as week 6 goes, obviously there's quite a bit more League of Legends to play. But from where we are right now, I feel like the current standings are relatively accurate. I guess I would swap CLG. I guess I would put C9. I guess they're tied, so I have to swap them because they're just alphabetical. But yeah, TL4, C9 3, CLG 5, FlyQuest 6. Interesting. I don't know. Look, anything could happen. Anything could happen in 3 through 6. I mean, even the top 2 teams aren't safe yet because there is quite a few games left. But does feel unlikely for EG and 100 Thieves to get dethroned from 1 and 2. Or at least the top 2 spots. They won't necessarily finish in their current order, but it feels fairly likely. But yeah, the world's qualifying part of playoffs should be really spicy. Be very fun to watch. We're not there yet, though. We're not there yet. Where we are, though, is I guess kind of where I was before. I have had so much faith in FlyQuest, and I still think they're good, but CLG are currently better than FlyQuest. CLG might be better than Team Liquid. That's a crazy thing to say. Oh, why do I not believe in Team Liquid? Their team's so good. Imagine not betting on Bjergsen and friends. I don't know, man. Why? I don't know. I want to believe in Team Liquid. They should be really good. I don't know. Too much pressure, I think. All talent. Not enough mental. I mean, can anyone survive the mental of this team? Seems so hard to be on Team Liquid. I almost feel like they're going through. It's funny. This isn't even that topic, but now I'm on a tangent. This almost feels like the old like TSM thing. Everyone would complain that like players would go to TSM and become potatoes, and then they would leave and magically get good. And TSM were not a bad team, right? When this stuff was happening, they were actually among the best teams in the LCS. You know, I think Sven Skaren is the best example. He also won 3 times on TSM, by the way. So like, not like he had bad splits on TSM, but towards the end of his stint on that team, people are like, oh my goodness, Sven Skaren is in jail. You know, just like can't do anything, has to constantly play passive, like all this stuff. You know, and I think it's like not even the system that TSM necessarily played around. It's like it's that and the pressure. And I think Team Liquid are in that spot. They're like the most successful. Well, one of the most successful LCS teams. They have the LCS record for number of wins in a row. They constantly spend crazy amounts of money. Presumably the most of any team. Maybe not. But like presumably the most, or like competing for the most, right? They have the biggest wallet. They have great infrastructure, great systems, great facilities, great everything. And it's just like, yes, you come to play on this team because you want to win and you get paid a lot of money. But you get paid a lot of money to win. If you don't win, they take the money away. It's just so much pressure. And it's only going to get worse. Like, this team hasn't won in years. And it's not like they've been bad. Like, I think it's easy to look at the fact that it's easy to look at Team Liquid and be like, this team sucks, when they've like finished like their average finish is like 2nd or 3rd. Like they're actually, and they constantly have super competitive series against like the top teams in the LCS. Like TL are really good and have consistently been good despite not winning. It's just like you're now in the point where you are the team where when you don't win, everyone flames you. And that's not sustainable for a team. As we have learnt in recent years, winning being your only identity is not a valid brand strategy for an LCS team. And I think Team Liquid are like decent at content and branding, actually. They have great support systems for players. They constantly have exciting rosters. Like, they are the big spenders of the league. That is like, that's a brand. I can get behind it. I don't know. It's kind of fun. Steve with the money gun. Steve constantly plugging sponsors, even when he's on the desk. I can't believe he did that. Actually, I can't believe he did that today. This is the guy that advertised his phone during an interview on stage before a game. So I guess I can believe that Steve would plug an ad every way he can get. But yeah, again, massive tangent, but it's tough. So that's why I don't believe in TL. That's why I didn't believe in them coming into the season, even though their team is so effing stacked. CLG, the faith is being restored. This team is so much fun to watch. What do I even start with how happy I am that CLG are good? It's not just that they're a legacy org. Like, I'm a big LCS history person. Seeing the old teams win feels good, man. I mean, I think it's a lot of like, this team's recent identity was sucking a lot. And of the winning LCS orgs, CLG is the least exciting by a lot. And also the furthest removed from a win by a lot. Like, even TSM has won more recently than CLG. In fact, CLG's last win was in 2016. Yeah, spring 2016. I know this because I joined summer of 2016, and I was watching CLG tear it up at MSI that year when I was moving to LA. Wow, that was the last time CLG won the LCS. Oh, that was so long ago. So yeah, it's a completely different team, and I think it just feels good that, like, it feels good to see an old org be reborn, right? The faith is still there. They have you know, a lot of the really gritty, like, fans still around, and I think they're doing a good job of capitalizing on that, and hopefully making new fans as well. But yeah, I didn't even think about that, actually. May West, lots of NA players. Lots of academy players, like lots of investment in up and coming talent, like bringing some veterans, I guess a veteran back in contracts. He's grounded out, bringing Dokla back in off academy, having Pala and Poom come in from academy, and you know, kind of the next Turkish superstar. Which, by the way, every cracked Turkish player has won the LCS. Broken Blade came in from TCL, LCS champion, back to Europe he goes. Closer, absolutely cracked Turkish jungler, LCS champion. Luga, pretty cracked TCL player. I'm just saying. The pedigree is good. The LCS Turkish national team powering up. Missing 2 positions. But if they all win, I mean, that's pretty good. They're doing better than OS. OS has 2 different LCS champions in 2 different roles. They might be doing better than Oceania. Australia's doing its best. But yeah, like the talent on CLG is great. And it's a cool mix of newer players and grinders and like new stars, you know? It's good to see an NA org doing NA things. And I think from today especially, we said it at the end of the cast, but like they're across the board, everyone has had big games. Big fan of contracts. Love to see that. But I think actually Palafox has been one of my favorite stories from this split. It's hard to wear a moniker like Palafaker. Because you mostly know that, like, people are making fun of you, I think. like not all the time. Like your teammates who call you that, like your fans that call you that, like they see you go off and they say, "Oh, it's a faker moment," right? Because that's the thing. Like you do a fakery thing in a video game, actually, not even just League. If someone's like, "Oh, that's faker," in a moment in a video game, like it means you fucking went off, you know. But like Power Faker definitely has like the two sides of like, "Wow, you were so good, you're fakering them," versus like, "Wow, like I'm calling you this ironically because I'm flaming that fucking shit out of you." Like there's some push and pull there with that kind of nickname, but Power Fox is just playing so well, fam. And he's always been like, he's been that good for a long time. I've watched a lot of his academy games. And it's nice that he's not only succeeding with like team play and roaming, which kind of felt like the only thing he could do when he was first in the LCS, both on Fly, right? And then on and then on CLG. He's like just straight carrying games now, right? Both his recent Azir games have been excellent. And the quality of opponents was very different in those two games, but still got it done. I don't know what changed for Palafox, but he's just going off. It must be the slides. Must be the CLG slides. Too powerful. I mean, the other nice thing about these newer players especially, like Palafox, I don't know what it is about the more established players, but they don't like playing the new champions. When the meta shifts, they're like, I don't want to play that. Palafox has never shied away from picks he thinks are good that maybe aren't as common in the league, or just like new picks, right? I feel like Demonte did this too when he was in the league. And funnily enough, Demonte's actually CLG's position coach. So maybe that has something to do with it in mid lane. But Prowler's just a good dude. I don't know. It warms my dinosaur heart to see CLG doing well. And I'm not even a CLG fan, to be honest. Like, I liked CLG and TSM because they're old League of Legends logs, and I've been around League long enough to know both of those teams' histories like pretty well. But, you know, I watched way more TSM in Season 1 because they were the best team. And I would say, like, I've cared more about C9 and TSM because they were the better teams throughout a lot of LCS history. So I don't even have like a lot of like I TSM got me into League, I would say, in some ways. So like, and I consumed a lot of TSM content in my first like year as just a fan of League of Legends and League of Legends esports back in the good old days. But yeah, feels good. It should feel good for NA fans that CLG are doing well, and they're doing really well. So I'm very excited to see where they end up. But as we've discussed throughout a lot of this episode, the playoff picture is very spicy, and I'm usually very confident in my predictions, partly because I'm a Muppet, but also because I trust my gut a lot. And I've been around a long time, so my intuition isn't bad. But I think I'm probably going to be wrong about the playoff picture. I don't think I'll be wrong about EG 100 Thieves, but everything else, 2 through 8, 2 through 9, I guess. I think impossible. Impossible to know what's going on. All right, that's the show. It's been a fun one. Thanks for hanging out. If you're new here, hit the follow button. If you're here on YouTube, hit the sub button. Turn the noties on. Do all that stuff. LLCS is the mostly weekly React and Vibe show I like to host here on my little Twitch channel after the LCS weekend. Excited for the week. Excited for the last few weeks of the LCS, and should be doing this throughout playoffs as well with any luck. Should be fun. All right. I'm done for the show for now. Thanks for tuning in. Peace, fam.